Rangamite, I now give the call to the member for Hotham.
Thank you. Deputy Speaker, I grew up in a Catholic family and in a Catholic community. I went to a Catholic school for 11 years. I did all my sacraments and I went to church with my mother every Sunday. And it's from that standpoint that I want to express the incredible hurt and anger that I have felt in the recent days that we have seen Cardinal George Pell make his testimony before the Royal Commission into institutional responses to child sexual abuse. The extent of betrayal felt by me, and I know by many other Catholics and many other Australians around this country, is deep and profound. Because what we are learning through the Royal Commission is that for decades, instead of the Church trying to help people that needed their care, what the Church was focused on was protecting itself, of moving priests around, of sidelining whistleblowers who are drawing conduct to their attention, and ignoring young people who are raising concerns with priests and with church leaders. Deputy Speaker, what is so upsetting about what we're hearing in the Royal Commission is not just the acts, not just what was done and what was not done, but it is the almost total lack of empathy that is being shown by some church leaders to the survivors, to the people whose lives in some senses have been destroyed by things that happened to them while the Catholic Church was meant to be their protector. And what I just cannot fathom, just watching these testimonies, Deputy Speaker, is why church leaders can't just stand up and say that they're sorry. Just to acknowledge that incredible pain occurred and that young people were not protected in the way that they deserve to be, and just to say that they screwed up, and that there's things that can be done to make this better and that we should all work together to do them. But Deputy Speaker, that's not what we've heard, and it's been incredibly disappointing to see. Now, Deputy Speaker, like most members in this House, this of course affects many people who live in my electorate of Hotham. And I want to say to the survivors, to the people from the Sacred Heart Parish in Oakleigh in my electorate, to the survivors who have made their way to Rome, to Julie Stewart, who has been so incredibly brave in her testimony before the Commission in the interview that she gave on the 7:30 report last night. I want those people to know that there are millions of Australians who are standing with them shoulder to shoulder, who are thinking of them for the religious, for those that are religious, there are people praying for them. But there are millions of Australians who are right there with you, who are outraged at the things that have happened on your behalf and are just so sorry that these things happened to you. Speaker, I have a community just to the south of my electorate on a border that I share with the member for Isaacs, who are grappling with a difficulty of this nature at the moment. Media reports of the Royal Commission have uncovered that the priest who services 2 parishes and 2 primary schools just outside my electorate was actually a perpetrator of sexual abuse when he was a seminarian. There were no children involved in the incident, but he was found by the Church to have sexually abused another seminarian. Now, Speaker, there is a group of parents and parishioners in this community who have been asking for months now to meet with the Catholic Archdiocese in Melbourne. They've written to Archbishop Dennis Hart, and would you believe, Deputy Speaker, the Archbishop has not responded to their letters. This community of people approached me and the member for Isaacs, so we wrote to the Archbishop Dennis Hart. And what do you think happened, Deputy Speaker? The Archbishop has not responded to our letter either. And I say, and I call now on the Archbishop, please, I don't, as a Member of Parliament, think it's appropriate for me to take a position on what should happen to this priest. That is a matter for the Archdiocese and for that Catholic congregation. But the least that you owe to these people is a conversation. And I'd ask you, please, to meet with those people. And if you're not willing to do that, at least please respond to their letter. Now, Deputy Speaker, I want to say a final word on the Royal Commission itself. I'm very proud that while Prime Minister Julia Gillard initiated this Royal Commission, and I note, of course, that in setting this up, this goes well beyond the conduct of the Catholic Church, which happens to be in the media at the moment because of the current personnel before the Commission. But setting up that Royal Commission was a fine act, Deputy Speaker, and I think that the former Prime Minister Julia Gillard deserves due credit for doing so. Some Australians might not be aware that the Commission has actually already recommended a national redress scheme for survivors, despite the Commission going to run on for another 18 months or so. And Labor has adopted that as Labor policy. When in government, we will institute a national redress scheme, and we call on those on the other side of the House to do so too. Deputy Speaker, it's not going to make everything better for the people who were victims of this. We can't give those people back the safe childhood that they deserved. But I think it would say to all of those people that as Australians we unite together in saying that was unfair.
I thank the member for Hotham.